Hey, what's up guys, Chris Connor here, and it's been a while. I've had a ton of scheduling problems while working on the new upcoming project, but I thought, you know what, instead of wasting another week or maybe two, I should share with you guys some info and some of my techniques while actually working on the project. So, as many of you guys have guessed from the title, this would be a different type of video. It's gonna be more of a discussion between the techniques and reasoning behind using a black screen versus a green screen from a project, essentially. So, a few things about this project is essentially a new upcoming tutorial series about future warfare and sci-fi visuals as well as sound effects in order to promote the future warfare pack, sound pack, as well as the visuals that will come with it. So with that said, let's take a look at 4 different samples of clips that I'm currently working on, and later, after we see the breakdown, discuss what's happening before and after. So let's take a look. So I hope you guys get excited from what you saw. I know it's not much, but trust me, I think it's gonna be really cool once you guys actually see the final results. So as you can see, this was shot in front of a black screen, and I chose a black screen because was no reason for me to use a green screen, since I did not need a separation between the foreground and the background. And that's really the main key here of why I choose to use a black screen in projects like this one, as well as the very famous Star Wars VFX Academy series that you guys have been asking me for. So again, let's see what happens in the beginning versus the end. Now, as you can see, the final result looks nothing like the original, and that's because of editing. In order to get that visual fidelity, there's a lot of steps involving color grading and visuals, but I'm gonna walk you guys through that so you can get an understanding as to how I achieve the look. Now, I personally am a big fan of this look. I love it. I think that if you have a studio and you don't have an actual location, is a very cool way of creating some very interesting visuals, while at the same time keeping the focus on on the purpose of the project, essentially. Now, I shot this using only one light, and as you can see, you can easily tell that there's a black fabric behind me, right? Now, when I take this and put it into After Effects, I can do certain steps to ensure that I still keep the black background, but it doesn't look like a black fabric. Instead, it looks like an infinite black space. And that's really cool, and what I love about using a black screen, where if I would use a green screen like I did in the Sorcerer's Sorrow promo video, if I did this, I would lose a lot of detail, especially in the hair section. And because most of us use DSLRs, and they're awesome tools, do not get me wrong, but they're not cinema tools. So they do not provide us with enough info to get a very good key out of a green screen, and as such, we lose a lot of value, especially in the hair section, or if there is movement, it's really hard to pull off a good green screen key. And that's where the black screen comes in, because like I said at the beginning, I not did a separation between the foreground and the background. I can keep the visual fidelity of the hair section and other parts of the scene without being afraid of like how it will look in post. Also, the other problem with a green screen is that you really have to have a lot of lights and lit the green screen perfectly without any wrinkles, while at the same time lighting your subject in the specific way you want in order to get that cinematic feel and have a cool cinematography, like in this case. So that's basically it, like the main reasons why I use a black screen versus a green screen. Of course, a green screen is a much more versatile tool compared to the black screen. But again, like I said, if there's not a real reason for you to have a green screen in order to separate your foreground and your background, there's really no reason for you to use this. So in most videos that you see a black background, it's because I use black screen, and this is how it looks. Now, let's take a look at After Effects and the steps that I take in order to take it from what the 70D sees and what you guys see in the final video. Now, the first step is to isolate the actor and remove everything that you don't really need on the sides, or any wrinkles that are not really useful. Now, of course, when you're gonna see the final video, I think you're really gonna enjoy it. But in regards to everything, I try to remove everything from the frame that is not useful. So I will take the mask tool, create a mask around the actor, and keep him within that mask, and basically just remove everything else because there's no use for it. Now, after I've done that, I will create a new solid and pick the color tool and basically select the same color as the background of the fabric, and I would just put below it and feather it out and make it look super cool. And probably I will create a second mask just to get some fine details from the actor and the light that surrounds him that was lost from the initial mask and the feathering. Now, after that is done, I play a lot with two solids, one that is white to simulate the light that is coming from that space, as well as a vignette adjustment layer just to create and shape the direction of the light and create that really deep black background. Now, after this is done, I will play around with some color grading, and one of the final steps would be to include a film grain, essentially. I've talked about this in the very famous color grading tutorial, which has gotten quite old, and I do need to update this one, but I basically explain how film grain makes everything blend together and makes an organic visual image come to life, because it's noise, but it's not the digital noise that we get from DSLRs, and instead is more like the cinematic version of noise. And it's very awesome because it blends everything together and merges everything visually, which I think is a real cool effect, and also removes this gradient effect that you can tell from like fake visuals when you do adjustment layers and white solids, etc, etc, etc. Now, do not get me wrong, just taking a camera, putting it in front of a black screen will not do much to any of us, really. You need to have a concept. Everything that's in front of the lens matters. The direction of the light, the background, the actor, what the actor wears, the movement, everything. Now, like I said at the beginning, this is one of my promo videos that I'm trying to create for future warfare products, which I'm sure you guys are gonna love. So this is the problem. Now the problem is, because of work and other reasons, it's taking me too long, so I thought I would share with you guys a bit of info regarding the overall process and the differences between using black screen and green screen in my projects. So I hope you guys learned something. I'm sure you will have a ton of questions, and I will try to make a more in-depth tutorial on how to achieve the same look when you have a black screen, as well as how I use a green screen and what techniques I used in regards to that. I hope you guys get excited from what you see in this concept and wait for the actual video to come out. Now, that said, make sure to check the other tutorials on the channel, as well as visit our creator store, where you guys can find some awesome assets for your productions. Now, my name is Chris Connor, and I hope you guys have fun with this one, and I'll see you guys on the next one.